The movie opens as a television hostess named Monica is interviewing the sole survivor of the Miles County massacre. Her face is now disfigured due to the deadly encounter on Halloween night a year ago. When Monica asks about the assault, the interviewee says the killer was dressed in a clown getup, and she saw him die afterward. As she speaks, a person smashes the TV set through which he is watching the interview, revealed to be Art the clown himself. Art then applies his clown makeup, assembles a bag of sharp objects, and takes them with him. Following the interview, Monica sits in her dressing room, talking to her significant other on the phone. She speaks derogatorily about the woman she just interviewed, unaware that someone is lurking behind her, probably offended by her words. She then receives a call from someone named Tom, but the caller is inaudible. Suddenly, she notices clothes rustling on a rack, and when she checks, she is attacked by the interviewee, who violently gouges out her eyes and laughs, leaving her as disfigured as she is. The next scene takes us to Halloween night, where two young women, Tara and Dawn, walk down a sidewalk to their car after a night of partying. Both are excessively drunk. As they discuss their plans, they spot Art the clown, carrying his bag of weapons and staring at them creepily. Dawn finds him endearing, given the occasion, and playfully flirts with him, but Tara feels something is off. When they look away, Art vanishes. Later, Tara and Dawn, feeling hungry, enter a pizza restaurant. Moments later, Art enters the same restaurant and sits at a table next to them. He continuously stares at Tara, making strange faces. Tara is unsettled, but Dawn teases him and asks for selfies, which he allows. The pizzeria owner approaches Art to ask if he wants food, but the clown remains silent, even as Dawn informs him their selfie has already received 8 likes on social media. After a while, Art walks up to their table, performs a trick, and places a ring on Tara's finger before heading to the restroom. When the pizzeria owner checks on Art, he finds that Art has smeared urine all over the restroom. Furious, he immediately kicks Art out of the restaurant. Meanwhile, Tara and Dawn return to their car, only to find that their tire has been slashed. They call Tara's sister, Vicky, who agrees to pick them up. Back inside the pizzeria, an employee finishes cleaning the restroom. As he exits, he discovers his manager's decapitated head, grotesquely crafted into a jack-o'-lantern. Terrified, the employee tries to run but finds himself locked inside. Art then appears and brutally stabs him in the face multiple times. Now inside their car, Tara and Dawn continue debating whether the clown was dangerous. A while later, Tara needs to use the restroom and convinces a worker named Mike to let her inside a nearby building. Mike warns her that the building is infested with rats. Meanwhile, inside the car, Dawn listens to the radio and hears that 2 men at the pizzeria were murdered, and police are searching for a suspect matching Art's description. As she realizes the danger, it is too late. Art has already entered her car. Meanwhile, Tara wanders into the basement and encounters a strange woman cradling a baby doll as if it were real. Unsettled, Tara tries to leave, but Art suddenly appears near the door. She flees as he chases her. Hiding among parked cars, she manages to stay out of sight for a while, but Art eventually finds her and stabs her in the leg. She fights back, striking him in the face and trying to escape. She then finds Mike cleaning a room and desperately tries to get his attention, but he is wearing headphones and doesn't hear her screams. Before she can get help, Art sneaks up behind her and injects her with a drug-filled syringe. Tara regains consciousness in a basement, tied to a chair. To her horror, Art sits next to her, teasing her with various weapons from his bag, including gliding a hacksaw over her neck. He then pulls back a curtain, revealing Dawn, who is hung upside down from the ceiling. Before Tara's eyes, Art saws Dawn in half while she screams in horror. Afterward, Tara manages to break free, stabbing Art in the back before running away. Art, however, picks up a knife and begins hunting for her. She sneaks up behind him and beats him with a wooden plank, seemingly gaining the upper hand, until he suddenly pulls out a gun and shoots her in the leg. As she crawls away, he shoots her in the face, then walks off to retrieve more bullets. At this moment, Vicky arrives to pick up her sister and Dawn. Finding the front door locked, she texts Dawn to ask for their location. Art, impersonating Dawn via text, tells Vicky that Tara is sick and to come around the back. Meanwhile, Art takes a selfie with Dawn's mutilated corpse, mirroring what she did earlier at the restaurant. After reloading his gun, Art returns to Tara and executes her with a shot to the head in front of the crazy woman. Terrified, the crazy woman runs to warn Mike, but he doesn't believe her. When Mike goes downstairs, he hears Vicky calling for Tara and tries to inform a friend that something is wrong. Before he can act, Art sneaks up behind him and knocks him unconscious with a hammer, then smashes his phone. Meanwhile, Vicky searches the building for Tara and Dawn. The crazy woman, looking for her missing baby doll, comes across Art, who is now holding it. Desperate, she pleads with him in a motherly tone, embracing him. Mike's friend, concerned about his earlier phone call, arrives and tries to enter the building but finds the doors locked. Inside, Vicky calls Dawn's phone and follows its ringtone to a horrifying sight, Dawn's mutilated body. She flees in terror. Entering the basement, she finds a girl lying on the floor and rushes to help her, only to realize too late that it is Art, wearing the crazy woman's scalped hair. Vicky desperately tries to escape, but the windows are sealed. She hides in a metal wardrobe, but Art spots her. Instead of killing her immediately, he toys with her. Meanwhile, Mike's friend finds a spare key and enters the building, only for Art to stab him in the head and decapitate him. Vicky emerges from her hiding spot and makes a run for the door, but it is locked. Art appears, riding a tricycle, forcing her to hide again. When she sneaks into a hallway, Art suffocates her with plastic wrap. Struggling, Vicky barely manages to rip the plastic and escape, stabbing a nail into his foot before running away. Meanwhile, Mike, who is still alive, recovers. Vicky stops running when she finds Tara's lifeless body, breaking down in tears. As she grieves, Art sneaks up behind her and strikes her with a metal shard. Before he can finish her off, Mike surprises Art and knocks him unconscious. He takes Vicky to safety, calls the police, and attempts to escape with her. However, Art catches up, brutally killing Mike by crushing his head. He then begins strangling Vicky, but she manages to stab him in the eye and escape. Vicky hides in a nearby garage. As police arrive, Art drives a truck into the garage, knocking her unconscious. When the officers finally catch him, he is seen eating Vicky's face. Facing capture, Art shockingly shoots himself in the mouth. Later, the police discover that Vicky is still alive. All the corpses, including Art's, are taken to a morgue. As the coroner unzips Art's body bag for an autopsy, the lights flicker wildly, revealing that Art is still alive. He awakens and strangles the coroner to death. A year later, Vicky is surrounded by her family. When she turns around, her disfigured face is revealed. She was the interviewee from the film's opening. The entire movie was a flashback to the previous year's massacre. So that's the end of our movie. If you've made it this far, be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you later.